to the channel. So today in this lecture we will discuss the ideal transformer on load case. Okay, when it is loaded with different types of load. So we will discuss about the three types of load. First is resistive load, second is inductive load, and third one is the capacitive load. So we'll discuss this all with the phasor diagrams. Right? So let's get started. That what is this? So this is the transformer we have seen. We have seen the working principle. So we are going to continue with that. So here the supply voltage, the sinusoidal or alternating supply voltage V1 is given. So due to the V1 we will get some current, that is I1, that is the primary current, okay. And due to I1 we will get some value of F1, that is the MMF developed across the primary coil, and due to primary MMF we will get some value of flux, okay. So this all is going to be the alternate in nature, that means we will get the variation or changing in the flux, right. So due to the change in flux, we will get some value of EMF E2 at the secondary, and due to the same reason, we will get some value of E1 at the primary. Okay. So now we are going to discuss the on-load case. Okay. So on-load case means the secondary of the winding is connected with the load. Okay. So we have connected it like this, right. So this is the ideal transformer working on the on-load condition. Okay. In the previous case, we have seen what are the different assumptions taken for the ideal transformer. So that all you have seen. So now we are going for the direct functionality of this case, right. So as we have given the supply voltage, we got the current I1, we got the MMF F1, due to that we got the flux in the transformer core and E2 and E, right. And now because we are working on the load condition, so because the circuit of the secondary side is completed, so E2 will generate some current, okay, will feed the load through the giving the current at this side, so that is what the I2. So I2 we are giving to the load, and whatever drop we are getting across the load, suppose that is the V2. That means across the load we are getting the voltage value of V2. Right? So these all are the different parameters on which we are working for the transformer. Okay. So now because we have seen in the last class we were working on the no load case. So at that time we have seen that when we were working on the no load condition, still we were getting some input current, okay, and that was the full input current were utilizing for the magnetizing effect. It was just magnetizing the transformer core. But now we have the secondary also, okay, so load is also connected, that means I2 is also getting, that means when the I2 started flows, so the input voltage, input supply has also been increased, okay, so I1 will also be increased. So here what we will say that I1, whatever input current we are giving, that will do the two works, two important work. What is that? First is it will magnetize the transformer core. We have to magnetize the transformer core, right? That after that only we will get the sufficient condition or sufficient working of the transformer, right? So I1 will feed the transformer core by magnetizing effect, that is the magnetizing component of current, and with that we will get some working component which we can say it as the I1 dash. And I1 dash is what? That is the current we are extra drawing due to the I2. Okay, so that due to the I2 flow, we are going to draw some extra current from the input side. So that is what the amount of I1 dash, right? So some part is going to utilize for magnetizing effect, and some part is going to feed the I2. Okay, and here if you will see that I2, we are getting the value of current I2, and that is due to the value of I1 dash. Whatever extra current we are giving due to that. Okay. So we can say that I2 will be equals to I1 dash, or it will oppose the value of I1 dash. So I2 will be equals to minus of I1 dash. Why minus? Again the Lenz law. I2 we are getting because of the I1. Okay. And which part of the I1 we are going to utilize for I2? That is I1 dash. So again there will be negative nature because of the opposition. It will oppose its own cause. Right. So I2 will oppose I1 dash. That's why minus sign is here. Okay. So now we are going to the phasor diagram draw. So what we will write here, the previous equation what we have seen, that is V1 equals to minus of E1. Again the induced EMF we are getting due to the V1, so it will oppose its own cause, so minus E1. Okay, I2 equals to minus I1 dash, and because we are loaded the transformer at the secondary, so we will get here Vt equals to E2. Okay, now we don't need need not to take V2 equals to minus of E2, because they are not the cause or they are not going to oppose. Okay, E2 we are getting because of the V1. There is no connection for V2, generation connection is not there. Okay, V2 is the voltage drop across the load, and that is due to the E2. So there will be no negative sign or no opposing nature. Right? So these three equations we are going to utilize for the further phasor diagram. Now, phasor diagram, whatever we have seen for the no load condition, at that time we have taken the supply voltage V1 in the reference. We have the common habit that we have to take the voltage at the reference. So at that time, V2 was not there because it was not connected, load was disconnected, so V2 was 0. So we have taken the V1 as reference. But this is the common practice that whenever you are going for the load condition, then take V2 as the reference. Okay, you can take the V1 as a reference also, but if you take the V2 as reference, then your solution of phasor diagram will be much easier. Okay, so I am taking V2 as my reference. So this is the value for V2. Okay, now what is V2? V2 is equals to E2. So here V2 and E2 are equal. So this is the phase for E2 also. Now what is E1? We know that E2 and E1 are in same phase. They lie in the same phase. Okay, we have seen for the no load case. So if this is the phasor diagram for E1, so what will be for minus E1? So this will be for minus E1. Okay, this is the minus E1 case, right? So we know that minus E1 is nothing but this is the phasor for V1, right? So these are the phasors which are representing my V1, V2 and E1, V2. So what will be the phi phasor? That is this. Okay, it is lagging the voltage by 90 degree. Okay, right? Now what is the current I1? I1 is the summation of I1 plus I1 dash. Okay, phasor addition. These all are the phasor addition. So you know that magnetizing current is always in phase with the flux because both are representing the magnetizing effect. Okay, and what is I1 dash? We know that I1 dash is the opposite of I2. Okay, so what is I2? What is the nature of I2? So the I2 nature will depend on the nature of the load. So that which type of load you have connected at this side. Okay, so we know that we have three types of load. First is resistive load, second is inductive load, which we used to say as RL circuit, and third one is what the capacitive load, that is the RC circuit. Okay, so first we will see about the resistive load. So for resistive load, we know that voltage and current both phases are in same phase. There is no phase difference, right? So whatever voltage we are getting here, in the same phase we will get the current also. So here if I will represent, this is the phasor for voltage. So in the same phase I will get what? That is current I2. Okay, so this is the phasor for I2. So what will be my I1? I1 dash, that is opposite to the I2. So this is the phasor for I2. So this will be the phasor for I1 dash. Okay, it is opposing the I2. So it will be always in phase opposition. So this is my I1, this is the I2, right? So what will be I1, that is the primary current, summation of these two. So when we will go for the resultant of these two phasors, we will get the phasor for I1, that is the primary current. Okay, so this is the complete phasor diagram which all contains the value of V1, V2, E1, E2, I1, I2, where I1 has the combination of Im and I1 dash, where I1 dash is the current getting extracted extra from the supply due to the secondary current. Okay, so this is the phasor diagram when we are working for ideal transformer on load condition, okay, and that too when it is connected with the resistive load, right? So now in the same case, we will go for the inductive load. Suppose at the load side, we have connected the RL circuit. So what will happen? Okay, so what will change here? Everything will be same. Here, the all thing will be same. So when we will go for the phasor diagram, first we will start with the V2 that is taken in the reference. Okay, now we know that V2 is equals to E2. So these two phasors are combining. Now what is E1? E1 are in same phase with the E2. Okay. Now what is V1? V1 is equals to minus E1. So this is my V1. Okay. Up till we are getting the same value. Now what is flux? Flux phi we can draw by making a 90 degree of phase lag. So this is the flux. Okay. And obviously Im will be what? Im will be in same phase with the flux. So these all phasors are same. Now we have to go for the I1 dash plotting to get the resultant of I1. So for that we should know what is I2. Okay. So I2 here is the secondary current and secondary current is flowing in the secondary circuit. So here we can see that this is the source E2. Okay. E2 is feeding the I2 and I2 is going through the load which has the RL circuit. Okay. So RL circuit we know that in RL circuit current will lag the voltage. Okay, we know that if we are working on inductive load, current will lag the voltage. So if suppose this is the phasor for V2 So what will be my phasor for I2? That will be in lagging nature. Okay, suppose it is lagging with theta value. Okay, so here I2 will lag the voltage V2 because of the inductive load. So if we got the I2 like this, so what will be my I1? This will be in phase opposition. This is my I1 dash. Okay, so this is the value of I1, IN. So what will be the I1? That is the resultant of these two. So this is what? The phasor for I1. Okay, so this is the actual phasor diagram when we are working on the ideal transformer with connected with the inductive load. Right? So this is for resistive load, this is for inductive load. Let me write it. So now in the similar way, we can go for the RC circuit when the connected load at the secondary is of capacitive nature. So hope you are getting the understanding and you may make it with your own. Okay. So for the third case, I am going to draw the phasor diagram and after that we will have the complete discussion. My suggestion, just draw by your own self by getting all this concept so that you can match with me and you will have the confidence that you have understood. Okay. So let's draw it together. So this is the phasor diagram for capacitive circuit. Here you can see the white line has shown the same figure what we have taken, that is V2 has been taken as the reference, which is equals to E2, and in the same phase we are going to have the E1, okay, and in phase opposition we are going to have V1, that is the supply voltage. Okay, and now what is phi? That lags the supply voltage V1 by 90 degree. Okay, and in the same phase we are going to have the magnetizing component of the supply current I1. Now I2, we know that it is working on the RC circuit, okay, means capacitive load. So here we know that current will lead the voltage by some angle, suppose that angle is theta. So here I2 is in leading phase to the V2. So in the phase opposition, what will we have? We will have I1 dash, right? So I1 dash and IN will combinedly give me the value of for I1. So this is the phasor for I1. Okay, so this is the last case that is working on RC circuit. Right? So we have taken three cases, that is pure resistive load, then inductive load and capacitive load. So in this manner we have to draw the phasor diagram in ideal case. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. In the next lecture we will see that what will happen when we will work on a practical transformer. This was all about the ideal case. Okay, so when we will go for the practical case, what will change there. So that all we will see with the help of phasor diagram in the next class. Till then, thanks for watching.